Disney Animation has had a bit of a rocky road lately, whether it's Disney Animation proper or their other animation company, Pixar. You know, they've had some great films in recent years, but some very mixed box office success or lack thereof. And, you know, it can make some people wonder about upcoming animation they have, like Wish, which they previewed for us at CinemaCon back in April, and wondering, you know, maybe they should just forego the theaters and put it directly on Disney Plus. And that happens to be the topic of today's Mint Mobile Hotline Question of the Day. Listen, guys, if you got a question for our show and would like to hear your voice on it, go ahead and call our Mint Mobile hotline anytime, 24 hours a day at 951-268-4259. Every day we pick one or two questions out, and today's again, should Disney maybe just put their animation on Disney Plus? Check it out. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of this video, Vessi. Now, like me, I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard of Vessi, the shoe that claims to be incredibly comfortable and waterproof on top of that. Well, these claims are really interesting to me because as a Canadian who walked around in a lot of snow, and as somebody who likes to go camping and hiking with his wife on the weekends, there's nothing more uncomfortable and horrible than walking around in wet feet. So after receiving my first pair of Vessis and noticing how incredibly good looking the shoes are and how mind-boggling comfortable and flexible they are, the first thing I did was I took them into the backyard to put it to the supreme waterproof test and dipped my feet in my pool. Guys, my feet were bone dry, and like 20 seconds after having them in the pool and I touched them, the shoes themselves were also bone dry. Guys, seriously, these shoes are stupidly comfortable, they look great, and they absolutely lived up to the claim of being waterproof and keeping my feet dry. I absolutely love my Vessi shoes. So guys, if you want shoes that are good looking, are ridiculously comfortable, and on top of all that waterproof, you need to head to vessi.com/Campea and get yourselves a pair today. Go to vessi.com/Campea and get shoes for your best summer yet.
Hey John, I was wondering, with the upcoming release of Disney's Wish, do you think we should just release it on Disney Plus instead of releasing it in theaters? During COVID, they released it on Disney Plus and it worked out for them. And especially with Strange World and Lightyear flopping, I think they should release it on Disney Plus. Thanks so much. Have a good day.
All right, thanks a lot for calling that out. There are a couple things I want to address there. You mentioned in the call that they released a couple other things straight to Disney Plus and it worked out. No, it didn't. It didn't work out at all. In any way was that a positive net for Disney, but under any stretch of the imagination did that work out? It didn't work out. There's that. As a matter of fact, their propensity to start dropping things during the Chapek era directly onto Disney Plus had a direct negative effect on the movies they started releasing in theaters. Because, and we talked about this on the show a couple of months ago about how, you know, it just became the habit. Oh, these Pixar, Disney animated movies, they're not theatrical events anymore. They're home viewing. They're home TV now. Because they put movies like Soul and Luca and Turning Red, and they put these movies that should have been big theatrical experiences, drop them on Disney Plus. So when they started putting movies in theaters, people were kind of like, well, these movies aren't theatrical experiences anymore. And it hurt them. What also hurt was that Lightyear wasn't very good. It started great. The first third of the movie that they showed us at CinemaCon, now we know why that's the part of the movie they showed us at CinemaCon. The first third of that movie is great. And then it really falls off after that. Strange World was a strange movie. I don't know why they ever greenlit or made in the first place, to be honest with you. And it's taken a little while until we finally got Elemental, a movie that had a very, very weak opening weekend, but as word of mouth got out there, just kept staying power and staying power and staying power, got into the high 400 millions and stuff like that, finally starting to come back. The thing is, you could start continuing this habit of just putting these movies straight to Disney Plus. You're killing your theatrical future. You're killing your theatrical future. But on top of that, here's the real paradigm. And this is something we've gone over a lot with streaming. They make no money if they put it on streaming. Because nobody signed up for Disney Plus so they could watch Luca. People who already had Disney Plus and were already paying their monthly subscription, a lot of them tuned in to watch it, sure. You know how much money Disney got for every one person that watched Luca on Disney Plus? Nothing. Nothing. So let's say that Wish comes out and they spend let's go with a conservative $60 million advertising campaign. Okay. As long as they make $600 or a $60 million marketing campaign, as long as that movie makes $61 million, it was to their advantage to put it out in theaters, because they may lose money, but they'll lose a lot less money than if they just dumped it on Disney Plus. So no, Wish should not go straight to Disney Plus, because if they do, then they're taking all that money that they spent making Wish, lighting up a nice cozy fire over here, and then going, and dropping it on the fire to keep the room nice and warm. Then it's all gone. All that money's wasted. All that money's gone. So I think it does behoove them to make it theatrical. For number one, they're going to make a lot more. Even if the movie loses money, it's going to lose a lot less money by going theatrical first and then putting it on Disney Plus. But number two is you're doing damage to the entire image of your movies if you let the image continue to be perceived as these are for home movies. These aren't theatrical events, and they got to break that trend. Anyway, Chris, we've talked a lot about the state of animation and stuff like that. You and I both love animated movies. There may be situations and certain projects and certain movies that could be made specifically for streaming or whatever. It's not a one size fit all. I don't want to come across as I'm saying, there's only one correct answer for any animated movie.
Yeah.
But for something like this, a movie like Wish that we saw a preview for, do you think there could be some wisdom in maybe just putting it directly to Disney Plus? Should it go direct, be theatrical first? How do you see it?
I truly view the straight to streaming model as I have no faith in this project.
Yeah, I agree.
That is, and I think that's what we've all just been conditioned to think. Last night when I was going to see Haunting of Venice, we're watching the movie trailers, Five Nights at Freddy's comes on, and Logan leans over and says, "Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this one." I went, "Oh yeah, it's day and date though." And he goes, "Oh shit."
Yeah.
It's just how we view these movies. So I think it's a vote of no confidence when you do that. Also, Wish right now lines up with all of the Disney 100-year celebration stuff.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. That's a good point.
They are going to really want to push having an animated film, which is really the foundation of Disney, in theaters and make a spectacle of it. Now, is it problematic that there aren't actors who can, promote this right now and everything? Absolutely. But I'm sure Disney can put together a lovely promo without any voicing.
Yeah.
That just showcases the film itself. So I think it's in their best interest to put it in theaters. And, so many of those animated films you mentioned too would have done great. A Turning Red would have thrived in theaters.
Oh, absolutely it would have.
Luca, I think, actually could have found its footing. I love Luca, especially if you do like the Alamo Drafthouse approach and you do the eat along and everything. It's great. So I really think that they need to let this movie have its opportunity in theaters, because otherwise, like you were saying, it's not going to make any money, period. It's really not going to draw in any other subscribers. You got to have that theatrical release.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.